What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Ask Cashflow Kris. In this episode, we're going to be talking about leverage. I'm going to be breaking down the cost of purchasing a property, how much you're going to need for your down payment, your closing costs, how much you're going to need in reserves. And then at the very end, we will run through a breakdown of what kind of returns you should expect to get, at least the kind of returns that we're going to be shooting for. As always, I'm going to be answering these questions live. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comment box, and I'll answer that as we go along. And then obviously, if you're watching after the fact, also leave a question and we will answer that at a later date. All right, so we're going to get started. So the question of the week is regarding financing. What are you going to need? How much money do you need to buy an investment property? So with every purchase, there's going to be lots of different scenarios. There's going to be lots of different variables. So to answer this question, we're going to have to make a few assumptions, okay? We're going to assume that this is a turnkey single-family house. What does that mean? That means it doesn't need repairs. It's turnkey. It's ready to go. It may even come with a tenant in place, but it's not going to need any extra money to be put into this property. We're going to assume that the buyer and the seller are paying for their own fees. The buyer's not going to have to come up with any extra fees or anything like that. And then we're also lastly going to assume that as a buyer, you're fully qualified. You know, you have the income necessary and you have the credit score necessary to get any kind of property that you're looking for. Okay, Greg, I see that you're looking for a price evaluator on an apartment complex. So once I run through this, then we will talk about that as well. Okay, so to keep the numbers straight on this deal, we're going to assume a $100,000 purchase price. So it's a single family home, it's turnkey, costs $100,000. All right, so the first aspect is the down payment. How much are you going to need on the down payment? Again, there are several different loan types that you can get. One of the most common is for an investor is going to be a 20% down loan. 20% is kind of that threshold that they like to have. If you put more down, they like that better. You may get a better interest rate. If you put less down, they are going to usually require what's called mortgage insurance. So that 20% threshold is what the banks like you to put down. So while you can have several 25 or 30% down options, as well as 10 or 15% down options, we're going to go with a typical 20% down payment. So we're not going to have any additional mortgage payments due, mortgage insurance. Okay, so $20,000 on this $100,000 house, you're going to need $20,000 for your down payment. Next, closing costs. So in Arizona, that's my experience. This is what you can expect to pay for closing costs. We don't deal with lawyers. We deal with title companies, and so you can expect a 1 to 2% of the purchase price, and that's going to include the title search, title insurance. They're going to run all the paperwork. They're going to make sure that you own the property free and clear. Free of any liens. That'll pay to record all these documents. And so closing costs, assume about $2,000 on that one. Last is your loan costs. So some loan costs include, they may charge you a point or two, which is a percentage of the loan. That's how they make their money as a lender. They may charge you a few fees. They will make you pay for an appraisal, most likely. And then they also like to see 1 month reserve. So they may charge you 1 month of taxes, interest, and insurance, and all the monthly fees. And they hold that in a reserve account. So count about $3,000 for that, or $4,000 for loan costs, and then reserves. You're always going to want to have a little bit of money in the bank to cover costs. So we like to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. So in the reserve account, I'm going to say that you're going to put about $3,000 into that account. So you got $20,000 for your down, $6,000 for your closing costs, loan costs, and then that's $26,000. And then you're going to want to put about $3,000 in an account for your reserves to make sure that you don't have to come out of pocket for anything else. So total cash needed, $29,000. That's what you're going to need to buy an approximately value of $100,000. Okay, so I hope that breaks it down. That gives you an idea of how much you're going to need. So, but let's go over the kind of the returns that you should expect to make on this type of an investment. So, nothing is ever guaranteed, but when you're looking at deals, you're going to want certain baselines when you're getting these deals in. Okay, so here we go. So $80,000, you're looking at an $80,000 loan at approximately 5.25%. So your payment's going to be about $440, and your tax and insurance on this particular property, we're going to assume about $160. So you're $600 all in. Okay, we're going to assume a 1% of the purchase price for your rent, and so we're going to say you can rent it for $1,000. Your payments are $600. And so you have $400 a month in cash flow. All right, those are more of those assumptions that we're going to make. This is what we're looking for. So when you're pulling your comps, when you're pulling your rental comps, how much are you going to be able to rent this house for? That you're going to want to plug those numbers in appropriately. Okay, so the very first way that we're going to make money on this real estate deal, and this is how you should be running your deal. It should be like this or better. Okay, is equity, instant equity. That's the very first thing that we're going to look for. We're going to look for a discount. So even though we're buying a turnkey property, we're still going to buy it below market value. We're going to find someone who is motivated for one reason or another. We're going to get that discount. It happens every day. So on this, we're going to say that we're going to buy it for $120,000 property. We're going to get it for $100,000. So you're going to have $20,000 instant equity on this deal, and that's going to be the minimum. You can do much better than that, guys. But in this scenario, that's what we're looking at. So then what do you look at? So we are renting it for $1,000 a month. So $12,000 a year in rent minus $7,200 because it was $600 a month for your expenses. So that is a yearly annual income of $4,800. That's your actual income, assuming you don't have any unexpected expenses, which can happen. But let's look at that. So $4,800 is your income, okay? But it's real estate, and it just doesn't run like that. Real estate runs a little differently. There's a lot of different write-offs that you can take, okay? So the very first write-off that you can take is called depreciation. So let's look at that. What would that look like? Now, I will preface this. This is an example, okay? Talk to your CPA about an actual deal. This is just an example. This is not an actual deal, okay? So $100,000, what they do is they generally value the purchase price, and they will say that the value of the property is 85%. They'll give the land a 15% valuation. So in this situation, 85% of $100,000 is $85,000. So they're saying the building, the government, the IRS is saying this building is worth $85,000 based on what you paid for it. You divide that $85,000 by 27 and a half years to find your depreciation number. Again, your CPA will work all this math for you. You don't have to worry about this. But look at that. That is a discount. That is a write-off of $3,090 per year for depreciation. Now, they say you have to take depreciation. Whether you take it or not, it's going to be counted on your taxes. So you want to take it, okay? So you're making $4,500, but you have a $3,000 phantom write-off, a depreciation write-off, okay? So your paper income is now $1,700, $1,710. So in reality, you made $4,800. On paper, you made $1,700, okay? But that is not where real estate ends, okay? We have appreciation in real estate. And it's not just your down payment. It's not your $20,000 going up that amount. It is the entire $100,000. So if you count a measly little 3% appreciation, that's $3,600 right there. Because remember, it's not $100,000, it's $120,000 is what it's worth. So $3,600 for appreciation. And then secondly, you have debt pay down. This assumption is on a 30-year mortgage. So your very first year, you're going to pay down the least. You're going to pay the very least principal the first year, and you're going to pay the most in the 30th year. So the first year pay down is $1,128. So that's how much your loan is going to go down, that amount. And then you have your $4,800 cash flow. So while on paper you're saying I gain $1,700, and that's what you're having to pay taxes on, your actual gain is $9,528, over $9,500 on your $26,000 invested. That's a 36.6% ROI. All right, let me show you those numbers right there again, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. You have your depreciation, so you're making $4,800, but on your taxes, you're going to be able to write down your depreciation, so you're going to have your paper income. This is what you're going to actually have to pay your taxes on, okay? And then you have the other things that don't even come into account on a yearly basis. You have your appreciation. That's for down the road. You have your debt pay down. Your interest is a write-off, but your debt pay down is not. That's actually going to go down. And then but your depreciation as well. So this is why real estate right here is superior to any other type of investment. You don't have these type of advantages. We leverage. We have all these tax advantages. This is why you need to invest in real estate. So if you want to make a consultation with me and see where you are, if we can help you go from where you are today to where you want to be at retirement, go ahead and click on our button and ask for a consultation. Okay. That is the topic for today. Greg, you want to know about how do I get a price evaluator for an apartment complex? Okay, well, there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can make your own spreadsheet. I mean, you know what kind of variables that you're going to want to have. You have your different types of income. You have your different types of expenses. And then you're going to have your projections as well. So I have a very simple spreadsheet that I can send out your way. It's for a 16 unit or less. So if you have more than that, you're going to have to make some modifications to it. But you're going to, just have your income on one side, your expenses on another. You're going to want to have your actuals. You're going to want to have your actual rent, and then you're going to have market rent as well, because you're going to see if there's a type of an upside. I have the one that I use. I paid to go to a seminar, so I'm not allowed to pass that one out to you, but that's from Corey Peterson. So if you are ever to take his class, he has a great evaluator. But also you just Google it, and I'm sure there's a lot of great free spreadsheets out there. There's a lot of spreadsheet nerds like me out there who just like to make that. So Greg, I've already got your info, so I will send you that. But for anybody else out there, send us a message and we'll get you our basic profit loss evaluator for a cash flow deal. You can use this for a single family or for up to 16 units is what there's space for. So that is episode 9. Don't forget to drop your questions for episode 10 and beyond. We've got lots of questions to answer, but we always like to see what the current mood is with real estate. So what questions do you have today? What problems are you coming across? So that's our episode for today, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.